welcome to Me Tarot Owl. My name is Joy, and today we're going to be doing a different type of reading for you. This is going to be a recipe reading. Yeah, a cooking recipe, tarot reading recipe. Reading. Alright. So I received this book here for Christmas. It's really interesting. And what it is, it's Divine Your Dinner. Divine Your Dinner. And what it does is it gives you recipes for every tarot card, in the deck. And so I thought, let's bring this into our new year. Everything has energy, you know, flowers and trees and herbs, fruit, vegetables, grains. You know, everything holds its energy, and you know, as a human, of course, we need to eat, right? And you know what? You know, if you can go back to the folklore, or herbal medicine, or witchcraft and spells. You know, everything always used things from nature, right? So, you know, everything's holding that energy. Everything has that energy. So what you eat is the type of energy that you're putting into your body. So this is what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be giving you a recipe for the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, you know, to see what energies are coming to you through this recipe that you can make. All right. So first of all, I have the Rider-Waite deck here, and I've only pulled the court cards out, which is the kings, the queens, the knights, and the pages, because those are all for desserts. So you know, so let's see from these cards what your recipe is going to be. I will be telling you the recipe as well. So you want to get a pen and paper if you'd like. Excuse me. Oh, and write, and you know, you can write it down. And also we're going to be pulling another card here from this tarot deck here. This is going to be for what your future self wants you to know. What your future self wants you to know. All right, what your future self wants to tell you or wants you to know. What your future self wants you to know. Okay. So we'll put one of these also in a pile here for you. Cut and begin. For some reason I felt like this one wanted to come out, so I'll put that one there. Okay. And we're also going to be pulling something you can be mindful of for the for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as well. Something to be mindful of. Not only maybe for that day, but for the whole year or the month of January. What you need to be mindful about for yourself. All right. So let's cut these and put one card down on this for each pile here. Okay. All right. So now we have ground cinnamon. We have cinnamon for this pile. We have vanilla extract. And we also have a ground sage. Now, the properties of each one of these holds a lot of magic in them as well. It does explain it in the book as well. Maybe one of your recipes, maybe the one that you choose will have one of these ingredients in it, and you'll learn a little bit about that as we go on. So again, so we have sage, vanilla, or cinnamon. So, you know, quiet your mind, and you know, you can choose your pile, and we'll begin. So let's go. So for pile number 1 here with the ground sage, let's see what you have. You have, I open new doors to life. You opening new doors to life for this year coming up here. You're going to open new doors. You want to rejoice in what you have, and know that fresh new experiences are ahead of you. and you want to greet these new experiences and these new ideas with open arms, with an open mind and heartfelt welcoming. And you want to trust life, okay? So you want to trust your inner knowing, your inner sights. You want to trust yourself, so you can rejoice and have these fresh experiences of this new year that are coming into you. Just keep that in your mind. That you want to embrace these new ideas and these new thoughts or endeavors that are coming to you. All right, and so now you have patience. Now you have patience coming in. This is what your future self wants to tell you. Future self is telling you to be patient. Here you have, I open new doors to life. Every time you open a new door and you take a step forward through that door, you're not really quite sure what's going to be ahead of you. And if it doesn't seem right to you, you need to, your future self is telling you to have patience with yourself. Have patience with yourself. Because this lady's holding this seed down in the palm of her hand here. And she's praying upon it, and it's starting to sprout. It's starting to sprout, and it's going to grow, and it's growing, and it's starting to bloom here. So this is like opening a new door by planting seeds. So your future self wants you to tell you to have the patience on this year that's coming up in 2023, to have patience with yourself. Anything that you want to achieve, you can achieve it if you just start opening those doors. You start opening those doors and taking one of those paths, but don't give up on that path. There's going to be road bumps and blocks, and you just have to keep striving forward and pull in the energy, pull in the positive energy, and have the patience. All right? So your future self is telling you to have patience. This year you may need to have a little more patience than you usually have or have had. Because new doors are opening. New doors are going to be opening. And it is a new year as well coming up. So, just keep that in your thoughts, in your mind, and be positive. So let's go ahead now and see what your recipe is. Who do you have? You have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. Let me move these over here. Okay, you have the Knight of Pentacles, so I'm going to read from the book. I didn't memorize these. I did not memorize these recipes at all. So now would be a good time for you to get a pen and paper if you want, if you're interested in this. I'll tell you what it's all about. I'll read the recipe to you and a little story behind it. And let's go. So what was this? The Knight of Pentacles. Okay, just passed him up here. Alrighty, there he is. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce this word already. Your recipe is brown sugar baked brioche, brioche. Sorry, I don't know that. Alright, so up here, this is saying it's for passion. It's passionate cultivation. Cultivation is planting seeds, right? Planting seeds. You're cultivating. You're planting. You're using your hands. You're making new things. You're going to be walking through new doors. Okay, it says the clay you've been kneading is taking form in your hands. Here we go. You are preparing to send a creation of yours out into the world. Go right through this door. The care you put into crafting it now will be your calling card in the future. Yeah. So prioritize quality over quickness. Your ambition may get frustrated, but will be better served in the end. Patience is a great partner in making this brown sugared baked brioche. You can't rush it, but you can enjoy the process. If you feel like you need to be doing more, decide on an intention and knead it into the dough with every push of your hands. And look at you, you made a magic spell of your very own. So this is also, it's just not for energy, but it's also a magic cookbook as well. You know, when you're kneading that dough and you're pushing that dough with your hands, you know, it takes patience, you know, to get that dough to be just right. And you know, you're putting your intent you decide on an intent and you knead it into the bread. So how do you want your new year to go? Put that intention into your thoughts and push it into that bread. Push it into this dough as you're making it. All right. This is a dessert, and it serves 6. So I'm going to read how to do it and the ingredients. Okay. All right. So this recipe is for those who don't love overly sweet desserts. It also makes a great breakfast. During the baking process, you will remove the brioche from the oven 2 times to poke lots of holes in it and baste it with heavy cream and light brown sugar. The cream soaks down into the holes and brings some of the sugar with it, while the remaining cream mixture caramelizes on top for a sugary, fluffy baked brioche that's like a sticky bun. And when you press the dough into the pan, it's kind of like you're making a focaccia. The cold, stiff dough might be a little difficult to handle at first, but it will loosen up as you work with it. And that's where the patience is coming in. All right, so this is what you're going to be needing for this. Okay, you'll need 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/8 teaspoon of active dry yeast, 2/3 cup of whole milk. Whole milk is vitamin D milk. Then you're going to need 6 tablespoons or 3 ounces. You know, whatever you have measuring spoons and stuff for. 6 tablespoons or 3 ounces of unsalted butter at room temperature. Now, I've made recipes before that said to use unsalted butter, and I didn't use unsalted butter, and it didn't turn out very well. So, you know, that's just one important thing. If it calls for unsalted butter, use unsalted butter. Okay, so then you're going to need 1/2 cup of packed light brown sugar and 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And so you're going to preheat your oven to 375. Okay? Now here's how you're going to be doing this. You're going to combine the flour, the granulated sugar, salt, yeast. And then you're going to combine all that. You're going to mix that, stir that around, and you're going to slowly pour in the milk. And as you continue mixing it until it says here, until like a shaggy dough forms. It'll take about 2 minutes. And you can, if you have a mixer that has those fitted like bread hooks, you know, those hooks on it, you can use that as well. And so you do this for about 2 minutes, and you scrape the sides as needed. So number 2 then, if you're using a mixer, you want to increase the speed to medium and continue mixing until a smooth, elastic dough forms, about 5 minutes. You can also use your hands. You can use your hands. You don't need to use a mixer for this. When I bake bread, I usually just use my hands and mix it all together. But anyhow, all right. So step number 3 then, you're going to add the butter, 1 tablespoon at a time, letting it all fully incorporate before adding the next ingredient. Once all the butter is in there, incorporated in, you're going to mix on medium for about 5 more minutes until the dough is smooth and elastic once again. You transfer the dough to a large greased bowl. You cover tightly with plastic wrap, or you can even use a dish towel, and you let it rise in the refrigerator overnight. Okay? This is why it says patience. This is why you got patience. It does take quite a while to make this. All right? So now, on step 4, you're going to grease a 9 by 13 sheet pan. Cookie sheet. Okay? This is, the next day now. You turn the dough out onto the pan and use your fingers to stretch the dough to fill the pan. You cover the dough with a kitchen towel and let it rise until it's doubled in size, about 2 hours. Depending on the temperature of your room, it may take a little longer. But you'll need the dough to double in size. Well, then here it says preheat oven to 375. I already mentioned that, but okay, so that was step 5. Number 6 now is bake the bread until a crust just starts to form, but the dough is still pale looking, about 10 minutes. Remove the pan from the oven and use a fork to poke holes all over. And really get in there, it says. You're covering the top with dozens of tears and holes. The bread should look like a little bit like Freddy Krueger's face. That's what it says here when you're done with it. All right. Then it says sprinkle a 1/4 cup of the brown sugar evenly over the top. Drizzle with a 1/4 cup of cream and spread it out evenly using the back of a spoon. Return the bread to the oven and bake until the top edges just start to brown. 15 to 20 minutes. Remove the bread from the oven and increase the oven temperature then to 425. Use a fork to poke holes all over again and sprinkle the remaining 1/4 cup of brown sugar on top and drizzle with the remaining 1/4 cup of cream. And then it says to return the bread to the oven and bake until the top is caramelized for 5 or 10 minutes more. And let the bread cool then for a few minutes. Slice and serve warm. All right, so that is, this is going to be bringing you energy for a passionate cultivation, for a passionate new start with patience. And that is your reading for the New Year's. All right, I thank you, and let's go on then to number 2. Hello, vanilla, pile number 2. All right, so let's go with this reading now for you. So your mindfulness for this year of coming up, or for the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day of 2023 is, I am willing to let go. You're willing to let go. Be willing to let go of stuff that does not give you any joy. Give up stuff that's not teaching you anything. Give up the negative. Just it's telling you to just, you know, be free to yourself to create what is meaningful to you. Create what's meaningful for you, and be willing to let go of things that are no longer bringing you any good. Things of this year of 2022 don't bring any sorrows or any lack of understanding of something that you've just been boggled down with. Don't bring that into the new year. You have to be willing to let it go. Let it go free. Let it go free. So something new can come in. So some new energies, some new life, something new. Something new wants to come in. Let's just let go of the past. Let go of the past. 2022 or further back is over and done. Start a fresh year on a new step forward, on a new step. Okay? So now let's see what your future self wants to let you know. It says here, financial and material changes. And you have many different paths here. Many different paths here that you can choose from for this new year. But again, like this card here, these different colors are for different things. Green is for health and passion, health and nature. The orange is for creativity, for creation, creativity, being creative. The purple is for spiritualists, spiritually and what's the word? Royalty. And then you have blue here is for communication. So again, you have to be willing to, you have many different paths that you can choose. So this is what your future self is telling you to go ahead and let go of some of these paths. You may not have, you don't have to go back. You don't have to go back and retrace those paths. Don't go back and retrace those. The health and the romance here, the green, don't, if something in the past, was hurting your heart, breaking your heart. If someone has broken your heart, don't look to the past. You have to let go of it and move forward. There may be a new love coming in for you. Communication, the blue over here, this blue path. If there was some communication skills with someone or upon something of this 2022 in the past here that again was bringing you down, like a waterfall, just and tumbling you around on the rocks. Let that go. Let it go here. I am willing to let go. You're willing to let go. You're free to create what is meaningful to you. Okay, this is what your future self is telling you, to these different paths here. If one of these paths, or maybe two of them, is something that's been holding you back and not letting you move forward, let him go. Let him go. Be creative. Be creative in your own self, and have the trust within yourself that you can move forward, okay? Let stuff go in the past. This 2023 is going to be, this is a new year coming up. Let's not carry the old judgments and old troubles into this new year here. You want to start fresh. 2022 was a rough year for everybody, so let's, try to keep the financial, because this is financial and material changes as well, was the title of this card, on the bottom here, but I wasn't reading into it as what the card was saying. I was just looking more so on the paths and what the colors represent. So again, take what resonates with you from this card. If it's a financial and love, finances and communication, if it's a lot of changes in material things, maybe you were creating something and you want to make money, you want to sell it, you're an artist and you're drawing and you want to put your paintings out, you know, um, then, if there's something that was holding you back from doing that, don't let it hold you back anymore. Be willing to let that free and ride that dream. Ride this orange path then. Go ahead and get your artwork out there. Okay, you can look at it as that way as well. So now, let's go on. Let's go on to your recipe here. As I was saying, Divine Your Dinner cookbook here. And we chose the desserts because we want our just desserts, right? You want your just desserts for the new year, for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Let's see what your recipe brings forward for you. You have the Page of Wands. You have the Page of Wands. So let's look this up and see what your recipe holds. Page of Wands. Okay. This book is also has magic, like I was saying, the herbs and stuff. It's magical. Magical. Be some magic in here for you. Let's see what the page is about. All right. Earth of Fire, exploring creativity, right there. Exploring creativity. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Isn't that what that was what I mainly focused on, was this creativity about your creating, what you're creating, your artwork, you're creative in some of your skills, what you're creative in. Let go of it. So let's read here. Actually, you have bananas Foster pudding cups. That's your recipe to make for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I'm going to read what it says here, and then I'll read you the recipe and how to make it. So you may want to get a pencil and paper, pen and paper, if you want to write this down, if it's interesting to you. All right. It says, just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's ideal. You're going right along with this. I'm willing to let go, right? Get out of your trouble and find new, more enjoyable and efficient ways to accomplish both mundane and fantastical tasks. Stretch your abilities. Revisit abandoned techniques. And play a little bit. Give yourself the gift of being bad at something. Nothing opens up hidden talents faster than falling and needing to improvise. New skills offer new means of expression. So if you find yourself suddenly needing to let it all out, and go on that dance floor, and just go with it. Get wild, do things you normally wouldn't do, like putting all your bananas in one basket. As we've done with... Hello again. My camera shut off. You're going to hear this announcement twice in this part 2. It shut off way before it made the noise that it shut off, so there's going to be 2 cuts in your reading number 2. So I'm going to just go on where we left off. I had said, like putting all your bananas in one basket, as we've done with this dessert. The vanilla will have you teaming up with the unexplored part of yourself, most likely to lead into new territory. Here it is, new territories, new paths, right? New paths. Letting go of limitations and fears. Okay, so it says here that this is a dessert and it serves 6. This is a mashup of 2 excellent banana desserts, banana pudding and banana Foster. Because why have one when you can have both? Plus, if a flamboyant doesn't go along perfectly with the fire element card, because the wands are all about fire. And so make sure everyone is watching you while you're cooking this, because the bananas, when it starts to flame up, is real impressive. But if for some reason yours doesn't ignite, it's totally okay. Just continue cooking the sauce for a minute to cook the alcohol off before serving. And I do want to say this, this does contain alcohol. This recipe does contain alcohol, and I didn't know that at first. So I just want to say, do drink responsible. Be responsible with your liquor. It is New Year's, right? And also be very careful that you don't burn your kitchen down, because you're going to be putting the alcohol, to a flame on this recipe. So just take precautions all the way around. Okay, so let's go on now and read the ingredients and how to prepare this dessert for you for your new year, for your just desserts for 2023. It says you're going to need 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of cornstarch, a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, 4 large egg yolks, 4 cups of whole milk, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Now, when a recipe, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but when a recipe calls for unsalted butter, it's really quite important to go ahead and purchase and use unsalted butter. As I've used salted butter in recipes that I was supposed to use unsalted with, and it doesn't turn out right if you don't use the unsalted. For what reason, I don't know. But it doesn't work, okay? So use 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, please. Then you're going to need a 1/4 cup of canned sweetened condensed milk. And then you're going to need 1 11-ounce box of vanilla wafer cookies. Okay? And then that was for the pudding. And then for the bananas, you're going to need these ingredients. You're going to need 3 tablespoons again of unsalted butter, 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, 3 large ripe bananas. And you want to cut them into 1/4 of an inch round slices. Or not slices, but the little one. You know how to cut a banana. In the little round circles. All right, 6 tablespoons then also of 80 to 90 proof spiced rum. Okay, so again, just drink responsibly and, All right, so step 1 for making the pudding. You're going to be needing, in a large saucepan, you're going to whisk together the granulated sugar, the cornstarch, and salt. Going to whisk in the egg yolks and milk, and then cook over medium-high heat, whisking often until it begins to bubble in the middle and around the edges of your pot or your pan. And then reduce the heat to medium and cook 30 seconds longer, and whisking it constantly. Keep whisking it. And then you're going to remove the pan from the heat and whisk in the vanilla. Okay. My camera shut off, so if there's a cut in here, that's why. It looks like it's been pieced together. So we had already said reduce the heat to medium and cook 30 seconds longer, whisking constantly. Step number 2. Remove the pan from the heat and whisk in the vanilla, butter, and condensed milk. Pour the mixture into a large, shallow dish. Cover with plastic wrap so it touches the mixture. So it does touch the mixture, okay? And refrigerate it for at least 4 hours so it can set. And then it says, step number 3. Then you want to add the wafers to a large zip top bag, and you want to crush them with your hands until it's chunky. Now, you could say, oh, I'll just use a wooden spoon. I want to use a wooden spoon. Crunch, 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 crunch. Or I want to take my rolling pin and, smack it. But the thing is, You want to put your energy into this. This is all about, the energies. So by using your hands and smashing them down and punching them like this, or, whatever, however you want to do it, that's why it says to use your hands. And then you're going to add a thin layer of the crushed wafers to the bottoms of 6 8-ounce glasses or bowls. Add a 1/4 cup of pudding to each glass. You smooth the pudding out with a spoon and sprinkle a thin layer of wafers on top. Divide the remaining pudding evenly among the glasses and finish with another layer of wafer crumbs. Loosely cover the pudding cups with the plastic wrap and refrigerate for at least 4 hours or up to overnight. 4th step. In a medium skillet, you're going to melt the butter and brown sugar over medium heat. You're going to add the bananas and you're going to cook them, stirring occasionally until they start to caramelize, about 7 minutes. Then you're going to remove the skillet from the heat. Add the rum and ignite it using a long stick lighter. You swirl the sauce around until the flame extinguishes. But make sure you're holding it far enough away from you. And then for step number 5, you're going to divide the flamed bananas evenly among those six cups of pudding of the pudding that you had made, and you serve it immediately. And your magic ingredients here is bananas and vanilla. Let me see, in this book as well, let me find this quickly for you here. Let me see if it's in here. It's telling you what the magical properties of banana, what some of the stuff is. Bananas. Okay. Bananas, are you in here? Banana. A banana magic is for grace through change. Grace through change. And that's kind of like what's going on, right? You have I am willing to let go. That's a change. A new path. Your new paths are changes. So these bananas are going to bring that energy in, into your body, into yourself as well for this upcoming new year of 2023. And then we have the vanilla here. It says attraction, agreement, and communion. Some new paths may take, there may be some new agreements that you need to do, right? It says both vanilla beans and extract are available in the spice aisle of the grocery store. Beans are best used to steep in liquid. To prep a vanilla bean, slice it in half lengthwise. Then use the back of your knife to scrape the seeds out. Drop the seeds in the pot into liquid that you're steeping it in. But anyhow, vanilla is for attraction, agreement, communion. And your bananas were for, what did we say? B-A. Grace through change. All right, so that is your recipe. I hope you have a wonderful new year, and I thank you. Bye now. Hello, and if you picked number 3, you've got the cinnamon, the ground cinnamon. So let's go ahead and see what your cards for your new year is bringing to you. All right, so this is your thought card, and you have, I now go beyond other people's fears and limitations. You go beyond other people's fears and limitations that they're putting onto you. You don't let the fears of others of how you're doing something and what you're doing interfere no longer, okay? This is a new year. 2023 is coming along. This is telling you to be yourself, trust and believe in yourself, and don't worry about what fears others are bringing onto you or giving you any limitations to anything. This is a new year. You leave that in the past now. You don't bring the past energy into this new year. On the back of the card it reads, "It is my mind that creates my experiences. I am unlimited. I am unlimited in my own ability to create the good in my life. Yeah. So you want to, you want to give yourself. You want to give yourself the power. You want to give yourself the energy. So this is an energy reading, basically, isn't it? You want to give yourself the power and the energy to go beyond this in the new year coming up, and let the fears and the limitations of other people and worries of other people that's come upon you about yourself. Let their fears and their limitations, just let them go. Don't bring them into this new year with you. If they have fears that you're going to fall down and break a leg, well, that's their fear. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And you don't need to carry that energy with you into the new year. Don't keep that in my mind. Don't keep that in your mind. Oh, I'm going to fall and break my leg because so-and-so keeps saying this. No, cut that out, cut that out. It's the new year. You do not want to bring those things into the new year. You don't want to put limitations on yourself. Okay, so need to clear that energy. You need to clear that energy and bring in positive for yourself so you can go out there without any limitations this year of 2023. Don't carry any limitations on yourself or the fear of others. Okay? Now this is what your future self wants you to know. Your future self is telling you fertility. Wants you to go beyond, right? It says here, now go beyond fertility. Plant something, grow. Let yourself grow, blossom, bloom, and shine. Let yourself become whom you want to be. Block those fears and limitations of others have put onto you for this year. This year, your future is telling you to have fertility within you for that. It also could be coming through and letting you know that maybe this year you could be expecting perhaps you're going to be pregnant. If you are pregnant now, don't let fears and limitations of others put that negative into your body. Don't let that energy come into your body that will go down in your belly here. You know what's best for you. It's your body, you know what feels right and what to do and what not to do. Right? Do listen to your doctors, though. Do listen to your doctors. They do know. But again, this could be a pregnancy possibly. This is your future self wants you to know. Not to, if you are pregnant or become pregnant, don't carry fear with you. Don't carry the fear with you, because that's your energy, and you also have some fresh new energy within you here growing, right? You don't want to put that negative into this little soul. Fertility also, you want to go beyond. You want to look forward. You want to bloom and grow, like I've said. You want to bloom and grow. You want to outreach. You want to stretch out. You want to stretch yourself. You want to stretch your limits up. You want to stretch your limits up and out. You don't want you don't want to be bogged down this year. Don't set your limits so rough and hard on yourself. Let yourself have a little bit of fun and go with the flow of things. Let's go with the flow of things. And look at her hair here. She actually looks like a tree. It's fertile. It's a lot of energy here. And look at her hair here with these little leaves blowing around. That's the wind. That's the energy of the wind. The air currents. All right, I know. You understand? You understand where I'm going with that? It's just let the currents, take you, and don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Okay? That's what your future self wants you to know. Wants you to know about your about this upcoming year of 2023. Don't give yourself limits. Go with the go with the flow of the air and the wind of change. In other words, be fertile and grow yourself. Grow and take in the knowledge. Don't let fears and limitations of others, or even your own fear and limitations of this past year here, this 2022. Don't bring those in. Don't bring those in, because you don't want that seed to be planted in you. Okay? All right? So now let's get into what your recipe energy is for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. What just dessert can you make that's going to be bringing beautiful energy and putting that energy into your body for the new year, upcoming new year? So let's see what you have. You have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. Okay, the Knight of Cups. Cups are all about emotions, right? What's going on here? What's going on here? It's emotions, right? And fears. So I said the Knight of Cups. So let's look in the book here. Find Knight of Cups. Here we are. Here he is. You have citrus pudding cake as your dessert to make for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little bit about the card and the recipe and how they go together. And then I'm going to go ahead and read the recipe and how to make it. So if you want to grab a pen and pencil, go ahead and write this down. Okay, if it's interested to you. Okay, well, first of all, the Knight of Cups is fire of water, and it says offering the jewel. Offering the jewel. Offering the jewel. Looks like a jewel here. The jewel of fertility, right? Jewel of fertility here. All these third eyes. Look at all these eyes on here. Look at all these beautiful eyes here. Insight, wisdom, knowledge. Let's go on with your recipe. All right. It says, your heart is reaching the boiling point, urging you to leave your comfort zone to find a connection. Whether romantic, platonic, or in the family, seeking out love. If we are to be successful, it requires offering out our hearts. Offering out our hearts. Yes, it means we risk being disappointed, but not taking the risk leaves us with that relentlessness feeling forever. And doesn't that sound a lot worse? I now go beyond. You're now going beyond. It's going right along here. Right along with this. And it says, remember, you are leading with what you have to offer, not with what you desire from someone else. Yep, don't let the fears and limitations of others. It can be difficult to tell the two apart. Vanilla is the magical ingredient of the lovers. That's the lover's card, the vanilla. Those are one of your magical ingredients in this recipe is vanilla. It helps to attract the right people, and lemon boosts the bonding factor. Here's a fertility. This could be the bonding factor, as I was saying. If you're going to become your future self, if you're going to be becoming pregnant, lemon will boost that bonding of the mother and the child. And also, what a stroke of luck that both are featured in this citrus pudding cake. All right. So again, it says the magical ingredients is vanilla and lemon. Okay. That's interesting. He's holding a cup, so that could be the cup of vanilla, and its cup is yellow. It's lemon. It's interesting. I just noticed that. That's not in the book. That's just my own idea. All right, so let's go on. I'm sorry. All right, this dessert serves 6 to 8 people. This cake is very much like a custard, yielding a super moist pudding consistency that is somehow also light and fluffy. It's magic. It comes together quickly and keeps well, making it the perfect dessert to throw together in the morning for a get-together later that night. So on the 31st? Yeah. New Year's Eve morning, mix this up and we'll be ready for your night. Okay, because of its custard-like qualities, you'll bake this cake in a water bath to keep the eggs from curdling. I'm sure it's going to explain what a water bath is, but I'm going to do it here. I do a lot of canning. I make my own jelly and canned tomatoes and stuff like such. And a water bath is just when you have a big pot and you put the jars, you boil some water. You boil water, and then you put after you filled the jars with your fruit or whatever, peaches or whatever you're canning, then you put them in a water bath and you let them cook, and that helps them seal. And, it helps cook it, but that's a little different. But that's what a water bath is. Let's just go on. Okay. So use any combination of citrus that you like. You can use lemon. That's usually the classic fruit that they use in this recipe. But a lime or grapefruit can also be used. If you use a sweeter fruit, it says, like an orange or a tangerine, be sure to cut it with a little bit of lemon or lime juice. Put a little bit of lemon or lime juice in it so it's not all too sweet, because you want the sweet and sour to even itself out. Alright, so here's your list of ingredients that you're going to be needing. You're going to be needing 4 large eggs separated, 1.5 cups of whole milk, that's vitamin D milk, 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, melted and cooled to room temperature. This recipe calls for unsalted butter. Make sure you please use that, because I have made recipes that have called for unsalted butter, and I used regular butter, and it doesn't work. If the recipe reads unsalted, please purchase that and use unsalted. Okay? And then it says 1 tablespoon of grated citrus zest. So if you're using lemons, you're going to make some shavings of the peel. Alright, then you're going to need 6 tablespoons of freshly squeezed citrus juice. Now remember, this is an energy divine cookbook here. And that's an energy, so you can go buy lemon juice, but because this is putting your energy into it to, manifest, to make the magic of what we've talked about up here, you want to use your energy and put your own love and energy into the recipe. So that's why it's telling you to do fresh squeezed citrus juice. So, alright. So then you're going to need 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. And those are your ingredients. You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You're going to grease an 8-inch square or round baking dish. And then you're going to fill a large roasting pan, which I just happen to have one here. I have a roasting pan. It's part of a roaster. It's like the insert piece. So you want to fill a large roasting pan, less than halfway full with water, and place it in the oven. This is going to be your water bath, okay? Now, in a large bowl, you're going to whisk together the egg yolks, milk, sugar, butter, your citrus zest, and vanilla and salt. You're going to stir in the flour. You're going to stir in that flour and whisk it until there are no lumps in it. And then you can get a mixer and you can fit it with a whisk, or you can whisk it yourself. You're going to get a whisk and whisk it. You're going to whip the egg whites on high until soft peaks form. And then you're going to spoon 1/4 of the egg whites into the batter and whisk until smooth. Using a spatula, then you're going to fold the remaining egg whites into the batter and pour it all into that prepared baking dish that you greased, okay? And then here it says, number 5. Place the baking dish in the water bath in the oven and bake until a knife inserted into the center of the cake comes out clean, about 45 minutes. So you have this pan in your oven with water in it, and then you're going to put that 8-inch square or round baking dish then inside your oven, inside this water. And it says here, when you place the baking dish in the water bath, make sure it's not floating. If it floats, you'll need to empty some of the water out. Okay, so the pan, that 8-inch square round baking dish has to touch the bottom of your pan here. Then it says, remove the baking dish from the water bath. I'm sorry, I'm getting all over the place here with you. Insert it into, place the baking dish in the water bath in the oven, bake until a knife's inserted into the center of the cake, comes out clean, about 45 minutes. Then step number 6 is remove the baking dish from the water bath. Then carefully remove the water bath from the oven. Let the cake cool for about 10 minutes and serve warm or room temperature, scooping spoonfuls directly onto plates. And that is your citrus pudding cake. And again, that's going to be helping you here. Going to be helping you here with the fears and limitations, either with the romantic, platonic friendships, families. And then the fertility of the new, the newness. All right, and that is your recipe. I hope you enjoyed that, and I thank you, and you have a wonderful day. Bye now.